Hello Summoner, welcome back to another ProGuides video. My name is Nathaning, and today we're going to be talking about the 10 best solo carries on patch 12.6. These are the champions that are overtuned enough to hard carry games and are considered safe to blind pick with little to no bad matchups that can completely shut you down. Do note that the champions in this video are generally the most meta picks for the role, and as a result, most of them are banned or picked pretty frequently. If you're looking for champions that are much less contested, check out our top 3 champions to main series. The champions in those videos are still strong enough to carry with, but they're low in both pick and ban rate, meaning that you're much more likely to get your hands on them. We'll start things off in the top lane with Riven. Unless you're brand new to this channel, you know that Riven has been one of the best performing top laners for way too long. It's literally been months at this point. Now with all that being said, Riven isn't just a champion that everybody could just pick up and insta-lock and do well with. It takes a lot of practice to get good with their combos, but learning those alone isn't enough. You have to learn how to pull them off on the spot in the game, and know which combo is good for which situation. Even the basics of laning with Riven differ versus other champions. For example, against Garen, you want to use your dash right away as he goes into Q on you, while against Darius, you want to dash into him when he uses his Q, to dodge that extra damage, passive stack, and healing the outer ring gives him. But once you do learn Riven inside and out, she's easily one of the most 1v9 champions in the game. She's super flexible, being just as at home in the side lane as she is in 5v5s, so you can make her work in and against any team comp. Whether you're trying to learn to abuse the broken champions on this list, or how to deal with them when you end up on the wrong side of the matchup, if you really want to speed up that process, you should check out ProGuides.com. We have courses from all your favorite streamers and pros like CoreJJ, Aftermoo, and Xmithy to really help you understand how to play your role. And if you want a more personalized experience, we have coaches available 24/7, ready to help you guys become the best. Our coaches are top tier players that have spent years climbing the solo queue ladder to get where they are now, and they're ready to share everything that they've learned with you. You can find the link for our website down in the description box below. Now let's get back to the video, shall we? Our other hard solo carry top lane is Tryndamere. But where Riven was a super well-rounded champion with a lot of options, with Tryndamere, you work towards the goal of split pushing with a single-minded fury. His laning is just as one-dimensional. There's just very little room for counterplay on either you or your opponent's end of trades. You just build up your red bar and then just spin in, praying that you win the RNG battle. So the only real skill of playing him is knowing when you can't fight and whether to spin in deeper and commit or just back out. I wasn't really exaggerating with the whole single-minded splitting thing. In almost all scenarios, you're gonna have the biggest impact on the game by just splitting a side lane and trying to take turrets. If too many opponents are missing and you're worried about a gank, just go into the enemy jungle and take away camps rather than smacking the tower and waiting to die. In the rare event that you really do need to group up and teamfight, only do so when you have flash and ghost available. If not, you'll get kited to death. Taking a look now at the jungle, the first pick that we have for you is Khazix. Just like Riven, he's another champion that's held the spot in the very top of the tier list for months now. I'm really not sure what it is with Riot, where they'll nerf Caitlyn when she has a 51% win rate, but ignore Khazix when he's closer to the mid-50s. The most unhealthy part about Khazix is that he's an assassin that you can't really counter by drafting a certain team comp. Usually assassins are hard countered by either hard CC or just super beefy opponents that they can't one-shot, but Khazix isn't really that bothered by either of those. That's because unlike other assassins who just have a ton of burst damage to offer, Khazix is very versatile. For one, his evolved W gives him utility, which in my opinion is something an assassin should never have. It sorta just does away with the whole high risk part of the high risk high reward. Instead, even when he's behind, he has one of the most obnoxious slow-in abilities in the game to contribute to fights. As for dealing with tankier targets, Khaz's workaround is that he just isn't a super front-loaded assassin. His Q has a super short cooldown, so that along with the stealths from his ultimate, he can also make him a very strong duelist against champions that generally are considered gods at 1v1, like Camille and Fiora. You can even take things further by going for items like Eclipse and Black Cleaver just for dealing with tankier opponents. Our other super strong solo carry jungler is Diana. Diana truly checks off all the boxes for things that you want for a champion in this role. Her clear is fast and healthy, and her dueling is some of the best in the game, so you can't be bullied away from camps. She doesn't have any CC pre-6, but she has good burst damage and a gap closer, and can certainly gank for allies that have CC for you or anytime an enemy overextends too much. But most importantly, Diana is an absolute monster in teamfights. While most assassins have to wait around, waiting for an opponent to jump in and one-shot an opponent, Diana is just able to jump in right away and let it rip with her ultimate. Having an engaged tool that doubles as a huge AoE nuke is just a bit ridiculous in my opinion. Next up for the mid lane, we'll take a look at Ahri. For years, Ahri has been in a spot where she was either decent or a bit above average, but she never felt truly good. But with her little revamp earlier this year, she finally broke through the meh barrier, becoming one of the best solo queue champions in the game. She combines being a mage and assassin, while also being a super safe pick, with her ultimate and charm giving her plenty of self-sufficiency and solo playmaking ability. Her laning phase is super solid, with literally every meta matchup either being good or neutral, and you can always use her ultimate to roam bot lane for an easy double kill if your opponent isn't somebody that you can all in. She's easy to pick up, but has enough of a skill ceiling that you can go ahead and show a lot of skill expression once you master her, and you can 1v9 a lot of your games. While she may be a bit over the top with how strong she is, I'm still happy that Ahri got the revamp that she did. It was kinda sad that one of Riot's most popular champions, with some of their best selling skins, was so, mediocre for so long. And that brings us to today's question of the day. What's another champion that you want to receive the Ahri treatment? We're looking for a champion that has been mid for way too long and could be brought up to being OP with just a few minor adjustments to their kit. Let us know what you guys think down in the comments below and maybe what change that you'd like to see. Now without further ado, let's get back to the video. Our other mid laner is Akshan. He's a super strong lane bully that you want to use a snowball fast and hard. Like Ahri, he either wins or goes even just about in every lane. Use his ranged bursty poke to constantly whittle down your foe. Even with him being out for so long, a lot of people don't really expect just how much damage Akshan really does with his E when he goes for that all in. So if your opponent disrespects you, odds are you can very easily pick up an early solo kill or two. Just remember, they need to be marked by your passive first for your E to auto lock onto them, so be sure to auto them before swinging in through the wave and wasting your hits on the minions. Moving things down to the bot lane, our first pick is Jinx. This is not a surprise to anybody, as she does ridiculous amounts of damage while also being on the lower end of the skill floors for ADCs. It's basically just dodge threats, position well, and right-click your opponents really hard to do maximum damage. If you can handle that, you'll basically be melting entire teams in seconds. Well, everything is pretty situational. A very good general rule to follow is to always play teamfights using Fishbones over Pow Pow. While Pow Pow's attack speed does give you a way better single target DPS, the extra range from Fishbones and AoE makes it much safer. This is especially crucial if you don't have the movement speed from getting excited. Our other super consistent solo carry in the bot lane is Veigar. Usually the best bot lane mages are those that can totally neutralize the laning phase by constantly shoving in waves and poking the enemy bot lane under their tower. See Heimerdinger, Ziggs, and Karthus. But Veigar uses bot lane as a safe place to freely stack his Q, without having to worry about the spooky assassins that may give him a tough time in mid lane. That said, he isn't just an AFK farming champion that can't do anything to the enemy bot lane. In fact, all you really need is level 6, and Veigar reaches that point where his full combo can be pretty deadly. Just his damage alone is enough to easily do about 70 or 80% of his squishy lane opponent's HP. So if your support is participating at least a little bit, you should be able to play pretty aggressively when you have your ultimate available. Now for our supports, the hands down best solo carry has to be Senna. There are all types of supports that can make huge plays. Hook champions with a peak potential, tanker champions like Ahri or Leona with huge engages, or Bard with his portals and ultimates. But nothing carries harder than just straight up pumping damage, and Senna easily beats everybody else in that category. And it's not just supports. If you actually build her correctly and know how to play her for optimal soul collecting, Senna can easily become the main carry on any team. There just isn't anything that compares to dishing out insane DPS with attacks that literally outrange turrets. As far as itemization goes, there are a few different good options, but we personally find the Kraken build is the one that gives the best carrying in teamfights. Eclipse definitely spikes hard in lane since it synergizes so well with her passive when you proc it with your Q and auto. But Kraken gives absolutely insane DPS when you're consistently autoing. And since we're looking at hard carries for this list, that's the one that we're going to be going with. Finishing off our list, we have Blitzcrank. I know I just talked up Senna big time, and it's going to be hard to sell another support after that, but Blitzcrank is a very close second place. That's because the current meta is absolutely perfect for him. I'd say in at least 8 out of 10 games for me, the supports being played are squishy ranged champions, and Blitzcrank absolutely eats them up. Hitting a hook on one of them in the lane will almost always result in a kill, or at the very least, a flash. Enchanters are usually pretty good at peeling diving threats, but they are completely helpless at stopping a hook flying at them or their carry. One of them is gonna get yoinked. This is just as true in teamfights. No amount of shielding, healing, and buffing is gonna save a squishy ADC that gets pulled right into your entire team. And that wraps things up for our 10 best solo carries patch 12.6 edition. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure you sub so you never miss out on our meta guides and you're always in the loop on what the best picks are. Remember to let us know what champion could use a bit of a revamp like Ahri down in the comments below. And one last thing, don't forget to check out our Discord in the description box below where you can discuss League further or just hang out and be part of the community. I can't wait to see you guys back in the next video, but until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and have a wonderful day. Peace.